Our reading today is out of the sealed book of Moses, chapter 1. And these words were spoken unto Moses in the mount, whose name shall not be known among the children of men. And now I, Mormon, will make according to the Lord's command only a summary concerning the priesthood of the Son of God to the believers in the first set of books I wrote, and that was open in the records of these plates, which were compiled by me as being the Book of Mormon. For Moses bore testimony of this to the chosen nation of his time. But because of iniquity, it is not found among the children of men. For it was sealed by Moses, and latter days of time were concealed by the Levites in a place called the Most Holy, under the altar that sustained the Ark of the Covenant, when at last they were found. 2 Chronicles 34:14. Hilkiah, the high priest, found the book of the law in the house of God. Malachi 3:16, the book of remembrance was written before the destruction of Jerusalem and brought to this land of promise by our patriarch Lehi. Now I, Mormon, I make an account of the records that were found. 2 Kings 22:8, Hilkiah, the priest, found the book of the law, gave it to Shaphan, the head scribe. Lehi, daddy of Jeremiah 29:3, Elisha. In the days of Josiah, king of Judah, of which the prophets of ancient times spoke, that these words would be sealed. Daniel 12:4 to the end. Shut up the words, sealed the book to the last days. Many gonna run to and fro, knowledge shall be increased. 1 Enoch chapter 1 verse 3, for a future time. These words would be sealed until the time of the end. Until the time of the end. For now, for how much many would be tried and purified, for how much many would be tried and purified, so that the presumptions in the faith will not be able to understand, coming to become stubble for the great burning of the last day. For behold, the Messiah shall pour upon all the proud a spirit of deep sleep, and again and again and again he will close the understanding of his priests, so that they shall walk like the drunken of Ephraim, staggering, but not of intoxicating drink, but becoming drunk with the wine of being stiff-necked, and carrying out their own counsel, because of his hard heart condition, by bearing in greatness the lofty crown which in former times was laid upon the house of Ephraim. All praises to the Most High, not I. But those But those who are humble will be refined and purified as gold in the furnace of the smelter. And the Lord will purify the sons of Levi from all uncleanness. When the Messiah will come to his temple and refine them like gold in the furnace of the goldsmith, for be precious living ornaments in the temple of God in Zion. Malachi chapter 3, verse 1 through 3. Verse 3. This is the sealed book of Moses, chapter 1, verse 3. I do not therefore write all things that have already been summarized and compiled by me, Mormon, in the book of Lehi. Lehi is Elisha in Jeremiah 29:3. His daddy is Shaphan in 2 Kings 22:8. 2 Chronicles 34:14. Jeremiah 40:11 and 12. Jeremiah 39:14. And which details everything in his record since his life in Jerusalem and the reasons that made him cross the great waters until he comes along with his family to this land of promise. I do, however, give a reliable account of the events that began to occur in his days in Jerusalem concerning this sealed book of the great Moses. Hilkiah, chapter 2. Hilkiah the high priest was appointed to the restoration of the temple by Josiah, king of Judah, in the days of Shaphan the scribe, secretary, and Sophron of all the languages that were around the land of Israel. The son of Uzziah, the father of Ahikam, Elisha, which was later called by God by the name of Lehi, short for Elisabeth, meaning through whom God restores. Through whom God restores. And Jeremiah and Jezaniah during the resurrection of the temple. Hilkiah finds the own book of the law of the Messiah, and together a scroll sealed by the signet ring of Moses himself, hidden under the ark in the temple by the first Levites. Hilkiah delivers both the books. Hilkiah delivers both the books he found to Shaphan, who reads the sealed manuscript to the king. Upon hearing the reading of the book, King Josiah rends his garments because of the abominations foretold in his record. The book of the law of Moses was a record. Shabawah was against the Levitical law of Israel and Judah, which for fear that one of them would occur in his day, he sends to Huldah, the prophetess master of the school of the prophets, a delegation led by the high priest Hilkiah to inquire of the Messiah in the king's name concerning the prophecies predicted from beginning to end of all things concerning this world. Malachi 3:16, the book of remembrance was written, predicted from beginning to end, to the end. Malachi 3:16, the book of remembrance was written from the beginning to the end of all things concerning this world. Found in that record which was sealed, if one of them was destined to happen in his day. And it came to pass in the 18th year of the reign of Josiah, king of Judah, that Hilkiah, the high priest, the son of Shallum, the father of Uzziah, began the reformation of the temple under the command of the king. In the course of these days, King Josiah sent Shaphan, the son of Azias, to the son of Meshullam, the son of Azias, the son of Meshullam, to the house of the Most High, saying, Go to Hilkiah, the high priest, and gather all the money from the hands of the people, which he brought into the house of the Lord, and take charge of delivering it into the hands of the masters of work, so that they distribute it to the workers in charge, to the carpenters, to the builders, to the masons, that we may buy timber and hewn stones to repair the house of the Lord our God, as it is commanded by the king of Judah. Verse 2. And it happened that the king's company came to the temple, supervised by Shaphan, the father of Lehi, supervised by Shaphan. 2 Kings 22:8, 2 Chronicles 34:14. Lehi, Elisha, and Jeremiah 29:3. Whom the high priest Hilkiah said, See, I found the book of the law of Moses in the house of the Lord. I found the book of the law of Moses in the house of the Lord. I found the book of the law of Moses, the law of Moses, in the house of the Lord. See, I found the book of the law of Moses in the house of the Lord. For how much is together? For how much is together to him? A part of the parchment, a part of the parchment that remains sealed by Moses' own ring of seal. And Hilkiah gave the book to Shaphan, for that he himself might research, and for a period of 3 days thereafter, stopping only to eat and rest, he read them all completely. It occurred after this that Shaphan hastened to stand before the king, first exposing Josiah, to Josiah to answer, reading the expenses, taxes concerning the restoration of the temple, saying, Your servants have gathered the money that was asked of the people, and delivered it into the hands of those who have positions of supervision in the work, which are in charge of the restoration of the house of the Messiah. Verse 4. And it happened then that Shaphan the scribe told the king that Hilkiah the high priest delivered into his hand the lost book of Moses. The lost book of Moses. And so he read it before the king, pausing and reasoning, 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 pausing and reasoning with him through what they understood of the writings. They had out the mouth of 2 or more witnesses. They had of Moses and the prophets, and did so for days thereafter until they had finished reading in their entirety. And it happened that when the king heard all the words of the book of the law of Moses, the book of remembrance, and subsequently as regards the sealed part of the manuscript of Moses, he tore his own garments, because among them were prophecies foretold by the Messiah to Moses concerning all things related to the priesthood of the Son of God, Shabawah, and the consequences that fall upon the people of the covenant whenever the elders of the house of Israel disrespect their investor to the priestly position. I pray it's been a blessing and a lesson to the reader, the hearer, the seer, to do it. Let me get a little more. Spirit say, let's go a little more to verse 6. Let's go. And the king commanded Hilkiah, the high priest, after the house of Aaron, and Ahikam, the son of Shaphan, and Akbar, the son of Micaiah, and Shaphan, the scribe of the king, Uzziah, the king's servant, saying, since we have a priest, since not we have a priest in our midst according to the order of Melchizedek, no Shabawah in our house. We under Aaron. Go under Hula, the prophetess, and the wife of Shalom, the man of cleaning the garments of the temple, and inquire of the Messiah for me, and for the people, and for all Judah, concerning the words of this book that was found. For great is the wrath of the Most High, which is kindled against us, for how much our fathers did not heed the law. They did not take heed to the book of the law of the Lord concerning the covenants of Abraham, the 7 foundations of Shabawah, the 40 laws, received in the most holy order of the priesthood of God, the order of his son, Malachi 3:16, whose image reflected among his elect on earth is in the order of the priesthood of Melchizedek, for to do according to all that is written in the book seal of the law of Moses. Oh no. All the book of Moses. Oh no. In regards to this higher priesthood, of Melchizedek, for to do according to all that is written in the book seal of the law of Moses, in regards to this higher priesthood, so that we may be ready to receive it, and so that it might remain with us, that we are children of the covenant, and not only among the prophets appointed directly, the prophets appointed directly by God. The what? Oh no. A man got to appoint the prophets. The prophets appointed directly by God, but that every man of the house of Judah find yourself worthy to port it. It happened then that the high priest Hilkiah proceeded from the house of Aaron, together with Ahikam and Akbar, Shaphan and Uzziah. They went to Hula the prophetess, the wife of Shalom. I'm one and done. Shalom.